the Office of Personnel Management is asking, all this administration is asking, President Trump is asking, is for federal workers who live off of the American taxpayer's dime to send 5 bullet points of what they have done in the previous week. That is all we are asking for. We advise federal workers, unless your agency has dictated you not to respond to this email.
Hello and welcome to our first Tuesday, Faith and Freedom, the Conversation. In case you missed it, our announcement last week was that we were going on 2 nights a week. So we got a jam-packed show, and we always want to start off with scripture. And tonight's scripture is, "Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free," John 8:32. And that's what we want to do, is bring you the truth, speak truth to you. And so please like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And we got to spread the word, you know, spreading the gospel, and we go out forth in Jesus' name here and give you the truth. And we want all believers' eyes open up. So thank you for joining in, and we are going to get started.
Yes.
Uh-oh. Sorry, people. That was the wrong video. Hey, the show's live. We oh my goodness, of course something would have to go wrong. How you doing, LaTanya?
I'm doing well. It's okay. We are here. So, and we have a good show, a good conversation. Like we said, Faith and Freedom, the Conversation. So we have some good clips, hopefully to stir up some good conversation, inform you, and all that good stuff. And hello to all you in the eye. Thank you for joining. Please remember to like, share, and if you haven't subscribed, and go into
So okay, I got the right video. Here we go. We're going to start the show.
Okay.
Again, no sound. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
That's okay.
But we're not going to worry about it.
Yes.
We're not going to worry about it.
No.
So we got a jam-packed show for you tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So one of the reasons that we decided to go 2 nights a week was because we couldn't cover it all, and we really want to keep this down to an hour show for you.
Yes.
We don't want to inundate you with a bunch of information and overwhelm you, but there's so much going on. And President Trump is moving at the speed of light. He is like a freight train just taking off.
Yes.
And trying to keep up with it. And we have three news stories here that we want to cover tonight. And so, let's get started. So I don't know if you guys have heard in the news that last week, Elon Musk, the administrator for Doge, he sent out an brief email over the weekend, and wanted to know 5 things that the workers had done the week before. Yes. 5 bullet points. Well, everybody's come unglued. So, the open video with Caroline Levitt, and we got to give her a hand. She's 27 years old. Isn't she doing an amazing job?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
She's doing an amazing job. I mean, she's on it. She's tough. She doesn't take anything from those reporters, and they don't like it. I can tell you, they don't like it. But she's doing an amazing job. So we got to give her a round of applause.
Yes.
In fact, Where's our
I was
round of
about
applause?
to. Do you have it? I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to cue this up. I'm going to mute myself. So LaTanya, carry on the conversation.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So, yes, this clip is going to talk about how the left or individuals are just really going bonkers over this email and about what Elon is mentioning. So I think it'll be good for discussion. I have my thoughts on a particular part, and so I would love to be able to hear what you all think about the topic of what Elon and this letter that he has sent out to the federal government. And he did give an extension, but about this accountability, about actually seeing if people are really working. And so, as you look at the clip and you listen to it, really just because you're going to hear another side, another narrative, but we're going to kind of talk about it a little more. And so if you have any questions, please leave a cue in front of your question, and then we will see it, and then we can try our best to try to answer it. So, hello, Shireen, at the heart of the conversation. Good evening, blessings. So, just to get you up to speed, so our first clip that we're going to be showing, it is going to be about Elon Musk and how it's a big we're about to play it. There we go.
Yep, here we go.
Well, federal employees suing Elon Musk over this email. You see it right here behind me, sent to millions. It happened Saturday. Here's what it asks. What did you do last week? The email demands employees list 5 things that they accomplished. The directive, previewed in a post by Elon Musk on X, threatens, quote, failure to respond will be taken as a resignation, close quote. And by the way, there's a deadline, a ticking clock here, midnight tonight. So here's the fallout. 5 agencies encouraging employees not to respond. The Department of Defense, the FBI, and the Department of National Intelligence among them. Those are some heavy hitter organizations there on your screen. So let's go live to CBS News White House reporter Olivia Rinaldi. All right, so Olivia, this is so confusing at this hour because bosses are saying to ignore. Lawyers are lawyering. How is this playing out today in D.C.?
Hey, Reid, it's good to be with you. The 6 words that really sent shockwaves across the federal government. What did you do last week? Elon Musk now asking people to reply to this. And if they don't today, that's considered their resignation. We're starting to see, though, some pushback from secretaries across the government. You named a few there. Let me walk you through a little bit more detail there. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of National Intelligence, told her employees not to respond because some of the work they do, most of the work they do, is critical and highly classified. Probably not something you should be responding to on an email thread about. The Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel Readiness at the Pentagon told employees, quote, when and if required, the department will coordinate responses to the email you've received from OPM. But for now, please pause any response to the OPM email titled, what did you do last week? So now this is some of the pushback we're seeing from federal agencies, secretaries, undersecretaries across the government against Elon Musk and Doge, but it's also raising a lot of questions, namely among them security. If you have 2.3 million federal employees writing back on an email chain about what they did last week, it can almost amount to a national security issue, laying out what all federal employees across the government are doing. So important to note there, but also questions of who will be combing through these emails to see what they accomplished last week. What is the threshold for adequate work when responding to this email? What if someone replied and didn't list out what they did? It wasn't 5 things that they listed out. A lot of questions about what this actually means, especially for a federal workforce of the scale I mentioned, 2.3 million people, this isn't a private company, this is the government.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see what's actually the fallout and the impact from not answering this email or answering it incorrectly.
So basically, which I agree with some of this, is that email blanketly went out to everyone, including personnel that are in security positions, national security positions. It should have never gone to the Pentagon. It should have never gone to Homeland Security. It should have never gone to the National Intelligence Agency. And like Tulsi Gabbard, the head of the National Intelligence Agency, she's correct. Don't answer it, because it's highly classified information that you're working on, and you shouldn't respond. So, but you had a really good point,
Right.
earlier.
Right. Yes. So the point that I wanted to make about this is, I don't think, okay, so President Trump has given Elon, wanting them indulge to what he is doing. And so I think that when it comes to like the FBI, our security, all of that, I do not think that they should be disclosing what they are working on, because that's a security thing. I don't think that Elon Musk, that is the intention. I think it's more of a tactic, in other words, to with the exclusion of those departments, to see, okay, what are you doing? Like, to see which ones are really working, which ones are not. But it's not in any way of an intention of disclosing, because those different departments, like the FBI, that has to do with national security, obviously you don't want to disclose that type of information. And if that is the intent, yes, there should be pushback, but there shouldn't be that where there is some ill intent. I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. And I'm saying it like that because you'll probably hear from legacy TV, Elon is the security part of it. He's wanting to disclose and put out, there are sensitive things that these departments are working on. And that is something you do not want to get out into the public. So my hope and my thinking is that is not the intent to do that. Because also what has been mentioned, who's going to go through all of that? I think it is a strategy move, and those who do comply, and then those who don't, with the exception of those very sensitive departments, that is one of the ways that they are trying to figure this out. And so he's already given an extension, and I think I'm thinking that that's why they're not pushing back on that. And there is a clip where it's mentioned that if your boss, and that's more so with those sensitive departments, say no, that there's no pushback with them. It's like, okay, because of realizing that when it comes to those areas, no. But when it comes to the other departments that don't fall up under that, I mean, there is an accountability there. And like it was mentioned, I think we say it, if I could just say this really quick, Kathy, it's like how it's like we the people, the government, they work for us and all of that. Our taxpayer dollars goes to them. But I think it was like, that, but somewhere along the line, there became a disconnect. And it's like
absolutely.
People and not only pay their salary, but we work for them. And it's like, no, that's not.
You work for us. We pay your salary.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is federal workers you know, you get a federal job and you were set for life till you retired. You know, you didn't have to worry about your job, just like the IRS agents. If you've ever had to go into an IRS office with the amount of people that are actually employed by the IRS office, you can't get anybody to help you. Literally, you have to make an appointment, or you have to come in between these hours. And then in the back room, somebody's sitting at their desk playing on their phone or watching YouTube. It's on our dime. It's like if you were to go to work in the private sector and you were to doing that, you would get fired for not doing your job. And that's all that Doge is trying to do, and Elon Musk is trying to do, is like figure out whose jobs are necessary and cut the fat, because there is too much government waste. And I'm sorry that these people are going to lose their jobs. I feel bad for them. It's horrible that somebody's going to lose their job, but then again, their job's not needed. You know?
So I have a quick question. Are these individuals that we're talking about now, are these the ones that were given a severance pay? Or they're separate people? In other words, buyout.
They're not the buyout people. Not the ones that have already. These are people that they're trying to find out who is productive and who's not.
Okay, so these are not the buyout people. So these are not. But these are people who work in whatever part. Are these people who work in the government in Washington D.C., or they're just any government job?
Any government job.
Government.
What did they say? There was over 2 million government jobs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this next clip, and I know you haven't seen it, but this is Fox News. And this is an interview with Alina Habba. She is the White House counsel. And this was really good at what she had to say. It's a little bit long, but it's good. So, okay. And give me praise, because I've already got it queued up.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
The outrage from Democrats over cutting waste and demanding accountability is actually a head scratcher, and it's not going away.
The president has put Elon Musk into a position of authority to do damage to our government.
This is not about efficiency. This is about loyalty. This is about having Trump and Musk put in the people that are going to be beholden to them so that they can push forward on their corrupt agenda.
Elon Musk has been lying through his teeth to the American people time and time again.
It's completely inhumane what he's doing, by the way. No compassion, no thought about these people that are working hard to deliver services. And quite frankly, it's crazy that this is his approach.
All right, let's take a closer look. This is the email sent by senior advisor to the president, Elon Musk, asking federal workers for 5 bullet points of things that they actually accomplished last week. This is not hard. So one of our team counted every single word and letter. It's 35 words. And not one of those words has more than 3 syllables. Yet somehow it has created a tsunami of confusion and controversy. And focus now, Alina Habba, counselor to President Trump. Look, there's no stopping this, but what do you make of people not responding yet? What are you considering to be some of the reasons and next steps?
Outside of you not responding because it's top secret, I'm really not sure the reason. I've never had a job where I didn't have to answer to somebody other than when I owned my firm. And last time I checked, I still answered to my clients. So it's absurd to say that this is an outrage. It's absurd. It's a result of a generation of pure, frankly, laziness, of excuses and unaccountability. And we're done with that now. President Trump is one of the hardest working individuals I have ever met in my life. Actually, I correct that. He is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life. And he expects the same from the American people and the people that were selected, appointed by him, or paid by taxpayer dollars, because it's his responsibility for us to be responsible to them and answer to them. And that's what we have to do.
Look, the ball is moving just a little bit to give people maybe a second chance to take a look at it, whether or not their reasons or excuses for not responding or maybe not even working. Maybe that's why they can't give 5 reasons of what they were doing, 5 things they were doing. But trying to make those, if they're personal reasons, trying to keep that messaging confidential. What's going on that you can tell us behind the scenes to have Doge actually responsive to what they're finding out?
I think there's a lot of people here, right? So you have to remember there's so many departments. Other departments are saying, don't answer if there's this information, which is a completely valid thing, but you have to answer. You have to answer and say what you've done. The problem is one thing. We have people that can't answer. It's very simple. How can you not answer? You and I work hard. If we go to work within the first 5 minutes, we could probably give 5 things that we've done at work. And I'd hope so. So my response is very simple. The president is not unkind. He's not being unfair, but he wants a response. Now, if you need an extra day to do it, God bless, but you're going to do it. He was very clear also that if you don't, there will be repercussions. That has not changed.
All right, let's get to this. A new opinion piece titled Doge's Thunder Runs Through the Bureaucracy. And here's part of it. Democrats fully aware that the shocking reports of corruption and waste are both accurate and well documented. And they are scrambling to halt Doge's audit. They are in a collective state of panic, and it's making them sloppy, lashing out haphazardly, using lawfare and fear-mongering to stem the bleeding. Your reaction?
What else is new? Fear-mongering, never heard of that before. Lawfare, never heard of that before. Unfortunately for them, this is something that we've been well-versed in for the last 4 years, thanks to what they did to President Trump. Here's the reality. We are going to continue. We are strong. We keep winning in cases where they get temporary restraining orders. And I want to point that out. They're only temporary. And then they investigate them and they say, wait a minute, they have a reason. They have a ability to go in and look at what is going on. Doge is a directive from the president. It's something we campaigned on and we're committed to. We're going to continue. This will not stop. And they can keep trying to challenge us. But the truth is, and this is a funny fact I heard from someone, that the first week we were in office, the first week this administration started slashing these NGO funding to Democrat bureaucrats. The reason, the thing that they Googled the most in DC, bleach fitting and criminal attorneys. Oh, I kid you not. That says it all. So they're trying to.
Did you guys catch that?
No.
You're muted. So they're having a Washington's having a meltdown over what Doge is doing and all of this. So these people, the number one most Googled thing in DC is bleach fitting and criminal attorneys. Bleach fitting is destroying evidence.
So people have been bleach fitting?
So no, they've been Googling how to do it. And also how to and finding criminal attorneys. They're preparing for getting hit and prosecuted.
So what's bleach? So bleach fitting, what is that actually?
Destroying evidence with bleach.
Wait, destroying evidence with bleach because of
in case of getting caught, getting prosecuted. Can you believe that? Let's go on.
Wow.
Scrap information and run and hide. Unfortunately, we follow the money and money never lies.
Yeah, I mean, the law part of it, the lawfare, the legal Googling, all of it. I mean, it is something that you're so right about. We've seen that used against the current president when he was between presidencies and even during them. So Elon Musk has posted some numbers from a recent poll that shows Doge is overwhelmingly popular and that Americans think government spending should be reduced by at least $1 trillion. The poll shows 7 to 10 people say they believe government spending is filled with fraud and waste. 72% say they believe there should be a government agency focused on efficiency initiatives. JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon oversees more than 300,000 employees. Let's get his take.
The government and everybody would know the government's inefficient, not very competent, and it needs a lot of work. And so you and I, it's not just waste and fraud, it's outcomes. Why are we spending the money on these things? Are we getting what we deserve? What should we change? So I think doing that needs to be done. Bureaucracy pushes back on everything. It's not just about the deficit, it's about building the right policies, procedures, and the government we deserve.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. I watched that whole interview this morning. I am curious about communicating to governors. I was in Louisiana with Governor Landry yesterday, and he is so all on board on this. He had to do it for his state when he was AG. What types of things are you learning from some of these governors? Because they can get on board and really help.
Yeah, I actually had dinner with Jamie Dimon Friday evening, and he's incredibly intelligent, as everybody knows, but he's all on board and talked about the difference in this administration and last. As to the governors, listen, the governor of a state is running their state. They have optics that we will never have from here, but we can only be reported into and read into. They are all on board. Yeah. We have seen such laziness. And this is what I spoke to Jamie about on Friday. He said that in the last administration, he couldn't get meetings. He couldn't even speak to anybody, let alone the president of the United States, who was MIA for 4 years. So I would have loved to have asked President Biden what he did. Where's his five points? Because I'm sure he couldn't have filled them out. But this is what we're about. We're running this country like Jamie runs the business, like President Trump runs the Trump organization, like Elon Musk's running X. That's what we're doing. And if you want your budget balanced, if you want to not have a deficit, who better to do so than a businessman that understands how to make money, how to spend money, and how to get out of debt? And that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and you've got millions of clients out there, the American people. You saw that number of support for what the president is doing right now. That is huge.
So that is huge.
Wow.
So Angela made a comment. I don't understand why our nation, country fighting so hard against each other. We should be working together to get our country back on track, no matter who our political party is. I agree with you. Unfortunately, there are some really delusional people out there right now. And these politicians that are fighting back, they're fighting from getting exposed. Otherwise, why would they care?
Yeah.
When you think about it, they're hiding things and they're outraged. Their anger, their anger is actually fear. Hi, Connie.
And I'll just say really quick, I don't think that as cutting back and waste and fraud, that we don't want to be too hasty about all programs, because there are some Medicaid, there are some certain other programs that are good. So what needs to be done, instead of cutting it, you need to go in and figure out how to keep that from being.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're not cutting programs. They're cutting the dumb programs, like spending thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on Sesame Street on how to be, what was it? To be inclusive in Iran. You really think Iran's going to be inclusive through Sesame Street? No. That's you're just throwing money out. You might as well burn it.
Exactly.
Today, and we may get into that, but today on Carl Higbie, and if you guys get a chance, watch it on Newsmax, he dove into Medicaid and all the fraud and everything that's going into that, and the millions of dollars that is being spent and fraudulently given away, and on prescriptions and how it all happens and everything. It's disgusting. So I agree, Medicaid shouldn't go away. Neither should Medicare. No. There's too many seniors that count on Medicare, but there is a lot of waste and a lot of weird things. One of the things that he explained, and I'll briefly say this, is on the pharmaceutical companies. If you go into a hospital and ask how much a procedure is going to cost, or how much a medication is going to cost, or even how much an aspirin is going to cost in the hospital, they can't give you an answer until they know what insurance you have and submit it to the insurance company to give it back a price. Because especially the pharmaceutical companies, it isn't from the pharmaceutical company to the doctor or the hospital. It goes from pharmaceutical company to a middle broker, then to the pharmacy or hospital. And that middle broker gets a percentage off of what is sold. So of course they are going to inflate prices.
Everybody got their hands in the cookie jar.
That middle person right there needs to go away.
Yeah.
You know, pharmaceutical companies sell to pharmacies and doctors and hospitals, period. You know, that's where the fraud comes in.
Yeah.
So we can dive into that more.
So Shireen asks, and I thought this was a good question.
From what my sister has mentioned to me, my question would be, why is President Trump allowing Musk to come alongside him in making these types of decisions? All Elon Musk is doing is finding the fraud, the information, the waste, and anything like that, and bringing it to President Trump. President Trump is making the decision. Elon Musk is not making the decision. He is just the auditor saying, this is what I found. What do you want to do about it? And President Trump is the one making the decision.
So it's like he's getting the information and he's like, now here it is, Mr. President. And then whatever you decide to do with it, President Trump may ask him, what is your thought? What is, you know, your, and he gives it, but you're saying the decision is on him.
On President Trump. It's not Elon Musk.
Okay.
Elon Musk is just finding out the information. That's his job. Everybody's making it out to that he has the authority to let people go, cut programs, and all of this. No, he doesn't. The president does.
Okay.
So, you know, and Angela puts, it's not really Elon. Elon has put together a team because he can't do it himself, but he put it together a team of highly intelligent tech people, and that's how they can go in, you know, using tech and these algorithms to find this stuff out in the computer systems.
Okay.
You know, otherwise it would take hours upon hours to go line by line physically to do this. No, the computer, you know, these create a program to go do it.
Wow.
And that's what Elon Musk does.
Okay.
He's a tech guy.
Right.
He's tech. Tesla is a tech car.
Right.
You know, it's an electric car. SpaceX, most of the stuff that, you know, yeah, you got, you know, rocket science and all that stuff, but a lot of it is tech. You know, like the company that I work for, eXp Realty. We're a real estate brokerage. We're global. We're a tech company.
Right.
We're tech.
Okay.
We're not a real estate company per se. We sell real estate, but we are a tech company. And a lot of the things that we do to manage our businesses is all tech. We're all online. We have no paper, no actual files as it used to be traditionally. Like the old office that I came from, we had a paper file.
Okay.
For our transactions. We don't. It's all tech.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So how do we have another question. Honestly, what truly is the point of people needing to fill out that letter? How many years have these people worked without having to fill out something like that? And then it says that's why there are bosses and supervisors in the workplace. Well, one of the things I thought and I mentioned was that maybe start with the bosses and the supervisors, since they are the ones that are supposed to be overlooking these things.
They are, but they haven't been doing their job. They haven't been holding people accountable.
So
They're
maybe,
not doing the job.
so maybe put this on the supervisors and the bosses and say, you need to go back to your people and submit what it is, you know. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Okay, let me ask the question. In your jobs, all of you, in your jobs that you go to work, and even me, I'm self-employed, but I still have to answer to my clients. Okay.
Right.
So if I'm not doing a good job, or if you're not doing a good job, your boss comes to you and says, what are you working on? What are you doing? That's all Elon Musk did. What are you working on? What are you doing? People are blowing it way out of proportion, way beyond that. And he's trying to find people who are productive and accountability, because there have been people who are on payroll that never come to work. They don't come to the office. They haven't been to the office since the pandemic, even though they were ordered back to work.
Well, what I think is that people are scared. People are scared about losing, you know, they are scared about losing their jobs and all of the other. And so we all are accountable. That's no doubt. I mean, you know, you have to I mean, to me, I think that the entity of people who were is something else, but all of us, you know, I mean, it's just a given, you know, you have to give an account whatever it is that you're doing. If you're in charge of typing up papers, there's going to have to be something to show that you typed up the papers, or you did this, or you did that. So I think
move
that
the paperclip from here to there. I mean, what, you know, I don't think that email was offensive to me. And maybe that's because I come from an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm the boss. You know, I run my company. If I have people that are working for me, and I have had people who are working for me, and I will tell you, the hardest thing to do is let somebody go. But if you're not, I had one employee where I asked him to do something a certain way, and because he was used to doing it another way at his previous job, he said it was okay. Well, no, what's okay is you're borderline fraud, and that's not going to happen on my watch. I don't want you to do it that way. You do it my way.
Right.
Which he thought that was ridiculous. So I had to let him go. But, you know, it just, and if somebody's not doing a job, but they're sitting around and things aren't getting done, then, you know, what am I paying you for? You know, my business relies on help, and if you're not helping me, gotta replace you. Or if the business turns in another direction and your job is no longer needed, then I will try and find another place for you. But if I can't, I got to let you go. And no, it's not easy. You know, you try to be as compassionate as possible. But you also have to understand what's happening is in the media is making this out to be a horrible, 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 incompassionate thing when it is just business. Which the government has been doing just business. They haven't been doing it, and that's the problem.
Well, I would say this: if they're going to let the people go, then the supervisors and the bosses should go as well.
Exactly.
So it shouldn't just, you know, it shouldn't stop at the people, because you have an order. You have the bosses and you have the supervisors, and they should be they should be accountable to what their people are doing. And you know, you have bosses, supervisor, managers, all of those type of people. And so if they get let go, then something should be for those people in those positions. I believe people
and they are being let go, LaTanya. They are being let go, or they're resigning, or they're resigning. I mean, those people are, they're going.
Oh,
I like, I believe people who are extremely hard and dedicated workers are taking offense to what is going on as well. This is something that seems to come out of nowhere.
yeah.
It did come out of nowhere because there was a change in the boss. The CEO of the company, of the country, changed. So new policies, and it's happening fast. What I would say to extremely hard and dedicated workers, don't take offense, because if you are hardworking and dedicated and you're doing your job, you shouldn't worry about losing it.
You know what this kind of makes me think about is how people who are not doing what they should do, they make it harder. And then sometimes there is harder rules for those who are doing the right thing.
Right.
If that makes sense. And,
And that's always the case.
And that's always,
the case.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So we got to move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next is we wanted to talk a little bit more about Robert F. Kennedy being sworn in and what he's going to be doing with the HHS department. So I'm going to mute myself. I didn't queue up this video yet. So
okay.
Keep talking.
So these are good questions, everyone. And I think that it's a lot of things that is happening that is shocking to individuals, and can definitely understand what you said, Shireen, about there are people who are extremely hard working and dedicated, and how they are taking offense to this. And I just hope that those who how can I put it? When they mention like 5 things of what I did this week or last week, I hope that it's not like they're going to be real selective. How am I trying to say it? Oh, okay. We have the video clip.
No, finish your thought.
Oh, no, I was just saying, how being selective in the sense of like, oh, this isn't good enough if people do respond and what they put there. So, but I personally think it's a strategy. I really do. I think it's just to see, okay, are these people real? And
that too, because they've been finding a lot of names on registers that that are receiving paychecks that don't actually work anywhere.
Right. So I think that's part of it.
That could be. That's a very good point. Okay. So this is Trump's speech when the swearing in of Robert F. Kennedy.
Kennedy and his uncle, President John F. Kennedy. Bobby has devoted much of his life to serving his fellow Americans in his campaign for president, and he was a very tough competitor. I did not like it at all. I said, let's get him on my side. But in his campaign for president in 2024, Bobby brought together a coalition of supporters across party lines, and he really worked very hard, and he had tremendous support, unbelievable support. And I think a lot of that support came my way when we decided to do a little merger, and it was really great. And it was very loyal, incredible people. They believe in him so strongly because he's a fierce advocate for the health of our children and for the values of free speech, democracy, and peace. And people are going to be very impressed, I have no doubt. I've known him a long time. He's been a friend of mine a long time. Perhaps most importantly, though, Bobby created a nationwide movement made up of millions and millions of mothers and fathers and young people and concerned citizens of every background who want to end and this horrible chronic disease crisis that exists in America. He's absolutely committed to getting dangerous chemicals out of our environment and out of our food supply and getting the American people the facts and the answers that we deserve. After years in which our public health system has squandered the trust of our citizens, and they really have. They don't trust us. They don't trust anybody, frankly. They've gone through hell. There's no better person to lead our campaign of historic reforms and restore faith in American health care. And Bobby's going to do it. The United States spends more money in health than any other country on earth, but we're growing sicker every year. We're not as healthy as countries that spend just a fraction of what we spend. So there's something wrong. He's going to figure it out. In recent decades, we've seen staggering increases in cancer rates across all age demographics, including more than 40% increase in childhood cancer since 1975. Who can believe that? And an explosion in other chronic childhood illnesses. Not long ago, 1 in 10,000 people, children, had autism. Now it's 1 in 36. Think of that. 1 in 10,000. 1 in 10,000. Now it's 1 in 36. Who can believe that? There's something wrong. There's something wrong. And I think it's something that can be found out. In 2022, more than 40% of children had at least one chronic health condition, and today nearly 80% of young adults do not qualify for military service, in large part for health reasons. Think of that, 80%. Something is wrong, and that's why immediately after Bobby is sworn in, I will be signing an executive order establishing the President's Commission to Make America Healthy Again. We have some great people on that commission. Chaired by our new secretary, this groundbreaking commission will be charged with investigating what is causing the decades-long increase in chronic illness, reporting its findings, and delivering an action plan to the American people. And it's going to be a plan that people are really waiting to hear. Bobby, I want to thank you. You've gone through a lot. It's taken great courage. You've been amazing, actually. I'd call him, I'd say, you're going to be okay. And he said, I know, I really do. He's really been supported amazingly by Cheryl and his family. And it was a very nasty group of people that were after him, but he was tougher and he was smarter than they are. And that's why he's here today. There are very few people that could have withstood the assault, but he was able to. So I just want to congratulate you. And we have a very special person here to swear you in, a man that
Yeah. So it's amazing how unhealthy this nation is. And, you know, the autism rate, you know, is off the charts. Cancer rates.
Yeah.
It's a scary thought that only 1 in 10, what did he say? 1 in 10, it's 1 in 10 children would qualify to go in the military.
That's a national crisis. That is a security. Yeah.
That's horrific.
Yeah, it is. It is. And how other countries, there are things that they won't even accept from the US. And yet
Right.
they're not as I would say, more powerful, etc. But see,
Mhm.
I've heard somebody once say that how people are going to weaken America, it's not from the outside, but it's going to be from within. And that's
Right.
exactly what's happening with the food supply, how that is, and all this medicine and all of that, where there is why is it that our doctors, they only get just a little bit of schooling on nutrition and other stuff, but yet it's a whole ton on the other, and the likes, and if you're having every child 1 in 36 just going with autism, I mean, and that's a spectrum. It is a spectrum. Not everybody, even Elon himself, you can look it up, is said he was on a spectrum.
Yes,
So,
he is.
So I mean, it's a spectrum with it, but still, it's within, and all the other issues that we're having, with from just all the other stuff. And so that's how it's been. That's how America has been weakened. And so, because I personally believe things have been so how they have been for so long, there's pushback. That's just like with anything. When it's like, it's hard for people to change.
Right.
And that's what is happening. And it's happening at such a record speed that people are like, whoa, wait, this is how
it's spinning.
This is how we've always done it, this and that and everything. But President Trump knows he only has 4 years. He knows why he's going at the rate he's going. There's things that he knows, and briefings and everything else that we don't have the privy to, but he
That's
knows.
right.
And so he knows that he has to, get it going, get it moving. He knows what he's, to the best of his ability. And so, and it's just, like I say, it's just shocking, all this stuff that we're finding out of how corrupt and how the people, because even Elon is mentioning, let's see if we can give some money back to the people.
Right. Right. Yeah. Because, they found what, $1 trillion already in fraud and waste. And they're going through each and every department. And like HHS, I know there's a ton of fraud there. I mean, a ton. Because I'm also a Medicare insurance agent. So I help people enroll in Medicare. And some of this stuff is pretty ridiculous. And I know there's waste in Medicaid and Medi-Cal. And like I said, if you guys have the opportunity to check out Carl Higby today, that was really good. So, but, one of the things that I liked about what RFK said was that that nothing was off limits, and that everything that was going in the department was going to be transparent, that we should know. It's with children's vaccines. He's not against vaccines. He just wants to know what they are, what the side effects are, and how they're going to affect our children. Because he's right. When we were growing up in the 60s and 70s, we don't have the problems as, children do today. Never had that. We weren't as sick. But today, with the food we eat, the dyes in the food, it's like the cereal, with the dyes in the cereal that we eat here in America. Those companies, General Mills and Kellogg's and all of that, they make the same product to be shipped into Canada, to be shipped into Europe. But they make it different with these poisonous stuff here in the United States. So, and they're saying, oh, it'll be way too expensive if they do it the other way. No, it won't.
Exactly.
Bringing it over into Canada, what's the difference? Just
That's right.
Get in and do it that way. Well, the eggs has been an issue because President Biden had over 100,000 chickens slaughtered to prevent the avian flu from spreading. They were healthy chickens. That's why there's a shortage of eggs. And it's said that it takes what, and I'm not a rancher or anything like that, but I heard this and I probably get it incorrect, but it's something like 16 to 19 weeks for a chick to become full grown enough to lay eggs. So the egg prices, I know we went to the store the other day and was going to get a dozen eggs, and the cost of just regular medium eggs was $10 for a dozen. $10. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy. So moving on, because we're winding down here. So I don't know if you guys heard, but mainstream media is changing. And Joy Reid from MSNBC, if you guys haven't heard of her, she had a show called Reid Out. And this woman hated Trump, hated MAGA, hated Christians, even though she says she's a church girl. I can't believe it, but she did say it. So she's out. MSNBC canceled her show this weekend. So I'm going to cue this up. Okay, here we go.
And welcome back, Infinity. Joy Reid is out at MSNBC and crying about it, literally crying tears on social media today. Let's watch.
But I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs. My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I try not to cry.
She ridiculed people for crying once before in a very Joy Reid way. She said it was racist for certain people to cry. She is unhinged, clearly. And in case you needed a reminder of what she thinks of anyone who associates with the MAGA movement, we put together some of the best hits for you on that.
This really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. She had the Taylor Swiftie to the Swifties. She had the Beehive. Like, you could not have run a better campaign in that short period of time. And I think that's still true, which conditioned millions of Germans to celebrate Hitler and turn a blind eye to his brutality. If that sounds vaguely familiar, that's because it is. Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable. History may not repeat verbatim, but it sure does rhyme. On this side of the TV screen have said all we can. We've laid out the stakes in this crucial election, where one side stands for freedom while the other meets the textbook definition of fascism, namely.
But that's not all. The network canceled their shows hosted by their three most leftist anchors, clearing house there. And President Trump, he took to Truth Social to spread the news, saying this, quote, low-life chairman of Comcast, Brian Roberts, the owner of ratings-challenged NBC and MSDNC, has finally gotten the nerve up to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious, racist Joy Reid, based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent. She should have been canned long ago, along with everyone else who works there. Our president did not go lightly on them. Okay, let's welcome in our guest for this.
Wow.
Are we sorry?
Wow.
That was the video I was trying to find.
That was the one, or that one? Oh, I mean, I don't know much about her, and I haven't really, so I don't know the depthness of everything what she has said. So that's kind of where.
Place her in along with the women of The View. Put her in that category. She's vile. She's evil. At one quote, she had said, and it was in that video that she was crying, but they didn't show that part, that she was a church girl and she was doing what God would have her do. Well, I'm sorry, but God would not have her call people who love this country fascists or Hitler or, and would always compare people. She was talking about one thing about the last election where, we were saying, people on our side were saying that it was rigged and, that they cheated and it was unfair and all of that. And she would, saying that you shouldn't be crying out your white tears. They mean nothing.
Oh, wow. Wow. I just know that one clip that I saw as we were preparing, and where she called Black people who supported Trump or maybe voted for him chickens, like something about chickens being Uncle Tom's. And so, I mean, I don't like shows like her and whatnot. I mean, is that even news? What is it? Like, it's
just opinions. And hold on. So here is some of the stuff that she has said. So, but and the only reason I'm showing this to you is because God's not only having people clean house through the government, but it looks like he's also cleaning house through the media.
Wow.
That's what I'm seeing, cleaning house through the media. So, but this is the reason why people stopped watching her after the last election. And even, I posted a thing on Facebook, and the one guy that had been attacking me called me a fake Christian, called me a racist, and all of that before the election and all that. I know I've talked about him before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he basically said that all of us MAGA people are in a cult. So I said, because he posted one thing which had something to do with Rob Schmidt on Newsmax talking about the halftime show and saying it was all about Black people. And, he purposely picked out the comments that, not the whole conversation, but just that he was talking about Black people. And that there wasn't one white person in the whole show. And then I said, so what does it have to do with the list of all the things that, have been found in the government that the last administration has done and all of that? So your biggest comeback is that we're racist. Here we go again. And then he posted something else, and I'm like, and that was about us being in a cult. And I'm like, So you're calling 77 million people in the United States cult members. We all belong to a cult.
Wow.
I don't think so. And I pray that the blinders are removed from your eyes. And I didn't get a response back.
After that, yeah. Well, let's hear what Joy.
Shireen, Shireen, he actually he part-time lives here in California and part-time lives in New York. So, yeah. So I know who he is personally.
Oh.
So, yeah. So anyway, well, this is what Joy is all about.
But I appreciate my haters as well, because hating it's a type of fandom.
Here's everything you need to know about the firing of star MSNBC host and outspoken Trump critic Joy Reid, who, according to President Donald Trump, should have been canned long ago with everyone else who works there. Reid has been a fixture at the left-leaning cable news network since 2011 and began hosting the weekend talk show AM Joy in 2016. The very next year, she was forced to address a series of decade-old posts on her personal blog, The Reid Report, in which she expressed disgust about men kissing and gay marriage. She initially claimed she had been hacked, but finally apologized a year later in June 2018. MSNBC stood by her side throughout the ordeal.
I genuinely do not believe I wrote those hateful things because they are completely alien to me. But I can definitely understand, based on things I have tweeted and have written in the past, why some people don't believe me.
The scandal marked the beginning of a rocky tenure at MSNBC, with the host racking up a series of cringe-inducing on-air controversies. In 2020, Reid mocked police officers who declined to get the COVID-19 vaccine.
So for putting Americans in danger, officers and unions who are fighting against vaccine mandates, which essentially means fighting to make the public sick, are tonight's absolute worst.
In 2022, she compared Floridians fleeing the Sunshine State in the wake of Hurricane Ian to waves of illegal immigrants crossing the U.S. border.
Be careful about attacking people who have to move to save their own lives and safety, because you never know when it's your people that have to move, when it's your people who have to migrate, when it's your people who have to get on that road.
And in 2024, claimed that Republicans were voting based on, quote, racial animus.
They're increasingly, from the Tea Party on, they're voting on race. They're voting on this idea of an invasion of brown people over the border. The idea that they can't get whatever job they want. A black person got it, therefore drive all the blacks out of the colleges.
In the lead up to Donald Trump's second term in the White House, Reid condemned the white Christians who supported him in the Iowa caucuses, claiming they want non-whites to bow down to them.
None of that matters when you believe that God has given you this country, that it is yours, and that everyone who is not a white conservative Christian is a fraudulent American.
Later that year, she claimed on TikTok that black people would look real weird for not voting for former Vice President Kamala Harris in the November election.
You're going to look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color. But really, as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture.
And she argued that Harris voters should avoid Thanksgiving dinner with their Trump voting relatives.
Well, here's an alternative thought. Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears. Troll amongst yourselves with Elon and leave us alone.
In December, Nielsen Media Research revealed that Reid, who earned a lofty $3 million annual salary, had lost almost half her viewers since the election, with MSNBC as a whole seeing a whopping 53% drop in primetime viewership following the November 5th outcome. After network president Rashida Jones left MSNBC in January 2025, Rebecca Cutler was tapped to helm the struggling network, where ratings have consistently trailed behind Fox News. Roughly a month later, Reid's show was canceled. President Donald Trump wasted no time reveling in the news, claiming on his Truth Social platform that MSNBC should pay vast sums of money for the unpardonable.
Okay.
Vile. She's just vile.
Wow. Yeah, I never watched her. So
and something's also brewing with Whoopi Goldberg on The View, because she's been suspended per se, kind of been hush hush, and I guess they're in contract negotiations and nothing's been mentioned about her. She's not even in the new promo, so she may be gone too. Wow. Because she's been sued. Caroline Leavitt sued her. Elon Musk just filed a suit against her, and she lost a suit against Melania Trump, I guess, for defamation of character or slander or something. But, ABC News is they're in trouble. And so you're going to see these left-wing lunatics shows. Besides that, the ratings are going down. They're going to go. And nobody needs to be spewing this kind of hate. You don't see conservative shows spewing hate against the left. You don't. But you sure see the left spewing hate against conservatives, especially conservative Christians. So good riddance. I'm not going to cry over it.
Wow. Well, on The View, what about Sunny Hopkins? Because she's
go too.
Yeah, she's one. I would even think, yeah.
I think she's being sued too. for something she said.
Something that she said. Wow.
But see, the thing is, and we'll talk more about this on another show, is that with President Trump at the helm, people feel confident enough to fight back now. They feel like we have somebody on our side who has our backs, that we can speak up and not get crushed.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah.
anyway, well, we're a little over our hour, but we want to thank you, each and every one of you, for joining in. It's been a great feedback, great conversations. We love the input. And then Friday night, we may have a special guest. We haven't confirmed it yet, but we might. We're hoping.
Yeah. So Friday is, yes, please stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. You'll see the thumbnail. So on the thumbnail, you'll know.
So, well, thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you for joining. We love you. Thank you for supporting us.
Yeah.
And please like, subscribe, and we'll see you Friday night.
Yes. Thank you all for coming. Have a blessed night.